criminalise street performance, spontaneous street performance. So we're challenging it. So tomorrow we're at the Royal Courts of Justice, we're at the Court of Appeal. We challenge it in the High Court. We have a legal hearing tomorrow. And actually, that guy, he might have shown you his special licence, but if you've read the papers, his special licence is actually under review because there's been several complaints that he breaches the terms of his licence. So it's been playing continuously for 4 hours. If you go and speak to the member of staff in HSBC, because I spoke to her today, ask her what has been causing a nuisance in this area. He's been here for the last 3 or 4 or 5 months, every single day, playing for hours, playing pre-recorded music. She says it's driving them crazy, but Camden gave him a licence. We argued that if they brought in a licence scheme, you'd get 1 or 2 people who would get a licence and they'd monopolise the space. So this is a political protest. And I explained it to him. We were here before him, and we said today we're going to be here. So either find somewhere else or work with us. And he's tried to set up on top of us. You know, it's just, you know, if you interrogate his special licence, you'll find there's been several complaints and it's under review anyway. So he hasn't got any more right to be here.
We're not going to do interrogate. If you are having a protest, we try to do a protest, but he has said many times that he's seen money handed over and seen himself. If it's a protest, I don't imagine.
It's a busking protest. I'm protesting. I'm not consenting to the licence scheme. So he might care about money, but we're busking.
If you are protesting,
I'm busking. It's a busking protest. Busking is about making money as well as it's a livelihood. So
right now, are you protesting?
I'm busking and protesting at the same time. It's a busking protest. But if you want to arrest me, and if you want to arrest me, no, I know. But if you do arrest me, we can test it in the courts, can't we? Because I'm not going to move, and I'm not going to stop the protest, and I'm not going to close my hat. Because I don't consent to busking. I don't think this man should have the right to collect money from the public by playing pre-recorded music at the expense of everybody else who wants to use this space. I think it's unjust. I think to the front. What he's asking you to do is to protect his private commercial interests. That's all he cares about right now. He's asking you to use state power against me to infringe on my right to freedom of expression, freedom of association, just so he can play fight music and dress up as a granddad. People, I mean,
it's irrelevant what he does. I mean, it comes down to the fact that he's got the licence.
I'm not going to and your regional commander. We are a peaceful organisation. This is just about having a presence, playing music, gathering signatures, raising funds. That's what we're here for. We're not going to move for DJ Grandad.
I'm a tourist, and this is brilliant.
With you protesting, if you're busking, you do need a license.
You don't. Section K of the busking scheme exempts political protest.
And he's not accepting
music
money.
that's part of a protest doesn't need to be licensed. Otherwise, that's an incredible. But so do journalists get paid for writing. Journalists still have right. So I am right. It's a busking protest.
One or the other.
I am both. Right. When a journalist writes a piece of copy that challenges a government policy, a journalist gets paid for that. That doesn't infringe his right to freedom of expression. When an author writes a politically contentious book, an author gets paid, a filmmaker gets paid. I'm a musician, this is how I make my living. I'm not hiding that. It'd be stupid, it would be self-defeating to close my case. I'm not hiding the fact that I do this to make a living. This is the collective way that hundreds of musicians make a living. Camden's licence scheme, we're arguing, puts the police in a stupid position where you, with all the resources that you've got, the scarce resources, the cuts, you're being asked to enforce a scheme that we're arguing is unenforceable if people don't consent to it. Because what will happen is this will happen. We're in the middle of Camdon Town, so you would have to send a wagon down, you'd have to arrest me, confiscate my equipment, and then that would create publicity backlash. You're only doing your job, but I'm giving you an easy way out. I'm saying that we're just here protesting. It's a busking protest. And if you look at Camden's policy, then
he's very articulate.
If you look at Camden's actual policy, it mentions that music's part of this part. So here we are. Busking. So I'm not collecting for charity.
You're collecting money though.
So where's it? Yeah.
He's not accepting money, they're donations.
I think the residents of Camden, there are far better things for you to do. I'm not disagreeing with you in the slightest. I suggest really that this is ridiculous.
Okay, any entertainment that is performed as part of a street party, community festival, charitable fundraising event, protest march, or similar event. That's section K of their policy. Yes. So
this is crazy, man.
it's not crazy. These guys are
they're
not,
doing their job.
They're not doing anything. This is not anti-police. Please don't put. It wouldn't be helpful.
No, I know.
They're doing their job. They've been put in this position by irresponsible legislation. Okay, so I just want to explain to people. This is not the police's fault that they're in this position. This is the politicians of Camden. Okay. Specifically, this is cabinet member. If you want to hold someone accountable, it's Councillor Abdul Hai. Okay, he's the Abdul Hai. He's the cabinet member for community safety. There were 54 complaints about noise from buskers in the year 2012 to 2013. This led to a crescendo of something needs to be done. So, in order to be shown to say we've done something about the noise, Camden Council said we're going to bring in a preemptive licensing scheme that criminalises all street music unless you get a busking licence in advance. We protested against it at the time. We said you've got existing laws. The Environmental Protection Act 1990 allows any busker who's causing a noise nuisance to have their instrument confiscated and sold. Not sold, but to be fined up to £5,000. They have a huge range of existing powers, but Camden ignored us. They ignored the Musicians' Union. There was a vote in Camdon Town and Labour whipped their caucus, and Labour put it through. The Lib Dems, the Greens and the Tories, even the Tories voted against this law. They said it would undermine respect for the rule of law, it would undermine community cohesion, and it would create situations like this where the police are being asked by a guy who's been monopolising the space for 5 months. He wants our protest moved on so he can dress up like Grandad and make money by playing pipe music. I mean, we tried to have a word and say today, we've got a Court of Appeal hearing tomorrow, and we're here to protest. So today I suggested find somewhere else, but no, he pulls out his licence. And that's what happens when you bring in busking licences. The few people who are willing to consent to it, the people who are willing to pay a fee and to submit to a police check, they will monopolise the space at the expense of anybody. So do you know, if you want a busking licence in Camden, you have to pay £49. You have to wait for 20 working days. It has to go out to public consultation, and there has to be a police check to see if you're a fit and proper person to hold a busking licence. So think of all the millions of people who visit Camden who are musicians, who might be playing in a venue. Have they got a month to wait for a licence? Have they got £49 spare? Are they willing to go to a police check? Is it right that somebody should have to have a police check in order to make culture? That's what we think of a totalitarian state, not London, not Britain, which still has a tradition of civil freedom. Ridiculously in Camden, if your music is part of a religious service or procession, you don't need a licence. So I could be a Hare Krishna band walking up and down the high street, or a Salvation Army band, and you don't need a licence, because religious freedom of expression is protected, and yet cultural freedom of expression and political freedom isn't protected. How can that be right? No one goes to church these days, hardly anyone. But for people who don't believe in God, or people who might believe in God but not the right God, music and community and public space is something that gives their lives meaning, and it's really, really important. And it needs to be protected. It needs to be protected in law. It's wrong that the state should have the power to confiscate musical instruments from people who aren't doing anything that's wrong. It's wrong that they should be able to curtail freedom of expression. It's wrong that they should be able to sell instruments. This is my livelihood. I'm a professional musician. And yet, under Camden's policy, this guitar that I bought in Nashville, and I've taken all around the world, that cost $2,400, the police could confiscate this, fine me £1,000, give me a criminal record for life that could prevent me travelling, which is essential for a musician. And then if I haven't paid their fine within 28 days, they could actually sell this instrument to pay the fine. Now, this law was upheld yesterday. The government said that councils need this power. I don't think councils do need this power. I think councils have got the powers they need. They need to use their existing powers, and they need to use them sensibly. This is not the right use of police time. It's a waste of police time. It's a waste of our time.
Where's the song, Mo?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll play it.
Fucking brilliant, nice guitar.
What's your name?
My name's Jonny Walker. So I'm from the Keep Streets Live campaign. So if you want to go to keepstreetslive.com, we have a petition that is asking this law to be revisited. We're not anti-council, we're not anti-police. We want to work with them, but we think they have to work sensibly. And they have to concentrate their resources against people who are actually causing harm to other people. We haven't got a lot of money, public servants don't have a lot of time. They shouldn't be going around checking people's licenses, arresting people, confiscating instruments. It's a waste of time, it's silly, and it's very unpleasant and it's coercive. So go on keepstreetslive.com and you can see our petition, and you can see what we've been up to. We're not going away, and that's the message to Camden. We can't do a protest in Camden because of this guy. He's here every day. He's here every single day because he's got Camden's license. All he has to do is go somewhere else. He could go anywhere in Camden, anywhere in London. We're having a protest today. But instead he prefers to assert his right to be here and to put the poor police in a stupid position of what they're going to do. So they're going to either kind of come to a compromised position or send a paddy wagon down to arrest me or to arrest,
Not taking your guitar, mate.
Well,
I'll put it in a safe for you. Keep it safe.
keep the amp safe as well, that's quite expensive.
And it'll still be there because you're dead right.
So should we sing a song?
Yes.
Okay, join in please. You probably know the words. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Nothing you can do that can't be done. There's nothing you can sing that can't be sung. There's no way you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. Nothing you can know that isn't known. Nothing you can see that isn't shown. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to use time. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all we need. Can be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Thank you. I want to be really clear. I don't actually have a problem with DJ Grandad.
The rest of us do.
I think DJ Grandad should be allowed to bus wherever he wants, provided he's not causing a nuisance to other people, provided that he's not obstructing the highway, but provided that he's not monopolising spaces. He's not the enemy, it's the system that's been put in place at the enemy. It's not people, it's the system. It's an unjust system. It's an unjust law. And Parliament passed the law, and Camden passed a resolution that made it binding in Camden. We need to hold Camden's elected representatives to account. It's no good, because Camden, we challenged the policy in the High Court, and the High Court threw out our challenge because they said that freedom of expression of buskers wasn't really significant, that the protection for busking, that busking wasn't significant, that our cultural freedom isn't that important. The next day, Camden put out a leaflet, an election leaflet, that said an end to sleepless nights in Camden. That's what Labour did. They put out a leaflet saying, because we've got rid of the buskers, Camden is suddenly going to become a quiet area. I'm sorry, if you're a resident living on Camden High Street, it's not a quiet place. It's not a quiet place. It's in the middle of a city. It's in the middle of a city with full of venues and vibrancy and chaos and sirens and, you know, millions of tons of cars that come past every day, blaring out real pollution. You know, the kind of pollution that causes cancer, the kind of pollution that causes global warming, not the kind of pollution that is people singing songs.
DJ Grandpa is the cancer. That's not pollution.
Right, let's not turn this into a mob against DJ Grandpa.
Please,
DJ Grandpa, join us in our protest.
Come on,
You know,
Do a mix. Mix it up. Mix it up.
He's not the enemy. You can come here tomorrow, DJ Grandad, and have your fans, but we're here today. You can join us. Preferably play an instrument.
Yes, please.
Come gather around, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accepted that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your life to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are changing. Councillors of Camden, please heed our call. Don't stand in the town hall, don't block up the walls, but he who gets hurt will be he who gets hurt. There's a battle outside and it's raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are changing. Writers and critics, pop the size of your pen. Yes, and keep your eyes open, your chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin. Your old road is rapidly aging, so get out of a new one if you can lend a hand. For the times they are changing. Thank you very much.
Hey mate, can I play a song real
Yes,
quick?
you can.
That'd be awesome.
Do you work at the World Tank?
I live about it.
He's a nice fella, isn't he?
Yeah.
Glasses.
Who's
We're going to be here till 9 o'clock when it becomes a criminal offence to use amps on the street. And after 9 o'clock, that's the thing. No one's saying there were some people taking the piss. But there's already existing laws. Use the laws against the people who are taking the piss. You need to tune that back. It's dropped at the moment. Hang on, just
Well, I'm from the States. This is a big problem in New York as well, and I just think it's absurd. There's way more things that are going on, such as crime, you know, dealing drugs and other things, but this is just music. It's pure love, pure joy. It's a shame that people just can't do this out of it. It's
what you make of
everything
yours,
he said. Everything he said is just true. And this is a great guy. He's doing this for a great cause. And good words of wisdom. I'll sing a Sheeran tune since I'm in England. It's called SPF 45. This is another song I wrote called Someday.